Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Elf. I became the demon god Hooper. My name is Tang Mingyang, and now there is good news and bad news. The good news is that I have traveled through the dark side and have a divine level bonus system. The bad news is that I have just been sealed, and my current strength is not enough to break the seal. However, for me with a system, obtaining strong strength is just a matter of time. What? Does the divine level bonus system start with nothing? But every behavior can gain experience points, as long as imaginable things or existence can be stacked with experience points, and once stacked, they can be obtained. And I became the demon god Hooper, with millions of experience at the beginning. So why wait to triple the experience acquisition rate? First let's see how I use the system to gradually become the strongest divine beast in this world. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Just became a Hooper and was sealed. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Hoopa, very strong. Above a village, a ferocious-looking demon god with only 6 arms was roaring wildly, enveloped in ominous darkness. As his arms danced, powerful energy destroyed the surrounding buildings. At this moment, a human man broke into this dangerous area. Hooper, stop it now. Upon hearing the man's voice, the demon named Hooper looked over. It's you, Gullies. Do you even want to stop Hooper? After Hooper finished speaking, he waved his arm lightly and a huge spiritual blade attacked Gules. Just as the attack was about to hit Gulith, the badge worn on Gulith's chest emitted a ray of light, blocking the attack. Immediately after, Gules took out a bottle from behind, which had an extremely peculiar shape. The bottle body was a hollow original round shape, with 3 gold rings on each side of the circle, and 2 small corners on each side of the cork. Overall, it was very similar to Hooper. This is. Upon seeing the pot of punishment, who was startled and instinctively felt a powerful force in it, his expression becoming somewhat solemn. Before Hoop could react, Gullies pulled out the cork and then a powerful force erupted from the punish pot, binding Hoopa in place. Damn it, what is this? Hu Bao looked at the blue light covering his body with a shocked expression, and could clearly feel that his strength was being pulled away. However, no matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free from the constraints of the blue light. A few seconds later, the blue light returned to the pot of punishment with the power of Hooper, and as a large amount of power was withdrawn, the once huge and terrifying Hooper gradually shrank into a form of punishment. Damn it, the power of Hooper. Punish Hooper looked at his little hands and listened to his voice becoming childish, feeling incredulous on his face. Then, seeing that Gulith had put the cork of the punish pot back on, he pounced angrily at the punish pot in Gulith's hand. You despicable human, return my power to me. Gullies looked up at the punishing Hooper, and only reached out one hand to press against Hooper's head, making it impossible for him to continue moving forward. But it seems that due to losing most of his strength, he has not yet familiarized himself with his current body, and Punish, who has forgotten to use any skills, just constantly flapping with his 2 small hands. Damn humanity, Hooper will definitely come back. After being unable to cause damage to Gullies, who was afraid to turn around and take off the ring hanging at the corner, ready to teleport away. But just as it was flying towards the circular ring, it was bounced back by the light curtain and happened to be pinched by Gules at the back of its fate. Damn it, how could this be? You annoying human, hurry up and let go of Hooper. Looking at the struggling punishing Hooper in his hand, Gullies said with a calm expression. Who am afraid, don't struggle anymore. You can't cross your own circle until you understand the true meaning of punishment. Next, you can practice with me. After speaking, Gullies began to punish Hooper and gradually disappeared into the village. 3 years later a faint sound of footsteps came from a pitch-black cave, followed by a man's voice. Just hide it here. With the faint light coming from the cave entrance, the man seemed to have placed something on the altar deep in the cave and then left. When the man walked out of the cave, he revealed a familiar face, which was Gule's. For the past 3 years, Punish Hooper has been thinking of various ways to regain his power, but fortunately, he was discovered in time by Gule's every time, which prevented Punish Hooper from succeeding. But just in case, Gules decided to hide the pot of punishment, and this cave was once a place for their tribe to pray to the creator god Arceus. The altar in the cave contains the 3 attributes of power bestowed by Arthas, and 3 years ago, Gules used these 3 attributes to make the punish pot. Although most of the power here is used to make the punish pot, the remaining trace of power is enough to hinder the perception of Punish Hooper, making it impossible for him to directly retrieve the punish pot with a circular ring. After using his own strength to reinforce the cave entrance, Gullies left, and what Gullies didn't know was that after he left, the punishment pot emitted strange red lights that illuminated the entire cave. Immediately after, a weak and nervous voice rang out in this silent cave. "Where is this?" "Here." P.S. The first few chapters may be a bit verbose, mainly introducing the background and system functions. In addition, the author's memory of the original plot is not very clear, so there may be some discrepancies with the original work. Readers should consider it a parallel world and not use the original work to read this work. My current plan is to borrow some of the plot and settings from the original work, and then add some game magic modifications. Therefore, let me mention in advance that if you don't like it, you can leave early to avoid arguments and conflicts due to the plot not being satisfactory in the later stage. Chapter 2. Divine Level Bonus System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this? Here. A weak voice sounded in the cave. Jiang Chen, a college student, stayed up for 2 consecutive days and nights in my Pokémon world because he could go home after the last exam the day after tomorrow and there were no course schedules for the past 2 days. After finally brushing out a Hooper, I realized that there were no Master Balls or Park Balls, so I had to use a regular ball to catch them. I didn't catch them for 60 rounds, and then because Hooper didn't have any skill points, he struggled and lost his last bit of health. Excited, he became unconscious. Ding, the Divine Level Bonus System has been activated. Ding, the host becomes the Demon God Hooper and gains 10 million experience points. Ding, the host looked bewildered and gained 10 experience points. Ding, the host changed from being confused to surprised and gained 15 experience points. Ding, dot. Just as Jiang Chen was still pondering the current situation, a series of warning sounds suddenly rang in his mind. This is a system. Did I cross over? What does it mean to become the demon god, Hooper? Shouldn't I cross over to the elf world and become Hooper? So what is my current situation? The surroundings are pitch black and motionless. Upon seeing the system prompt sound, several questions flashed through Jiang Chen's mind, deeply influenced by the system's culture. Ding, the host raises a series of questions and gains 30 experience points. Ding, dot. At the same time, the prompt sound for obtaining experience points in the mind has not stopped. By the way, system, can you explain the situation to me? Ding, the host raises a question and gains 15 experience points. System. System. Ding, gain 15 experience points. What's the situation? My system shouldn't be unable to communicate, right? Ding, gain 20 experience points. It seems like we can't communicate anymore. Why don't we study it ourselves? According to the plot in the novel, we should first open the system interface to see what functions there are. After several unsuccessful exchanges, Jiang Chen decided to study the system's functions on his own, but was shocked when he opened the system interface. It's not because the system's functions are so luxurious, but because it has almost nothing, just a message interface, and the content inside is still constantly refreshing. Ding, the host opens the system interface and gains 45 experience points. Ding, the host was greatly shocked and gained 30 experience points. Ding, dot. This system is too cumbersome. Why isn't there anything? Looking at the almost empty system interface, Jiang Chen couldn't help but panic, although according to the content in the message interface, he is now most likely the demon god Hooper. But I don't know anything about other news, such as whether I have traveled through the world of elves and become a Hooper, or just become an existence with the same name and surname. After all, the area around me is pitch black, and it seems that there is no such environment in the known areas of the elf world. No, this system dares to be called God level, so it definitely wouldn't be such a jerk. After a moment of relaxation, Jiang Chen gradually regained his senses from his panic. According to the systematic novels he had read in the past, anyone with the word God level has the function of Jiao Zhao Tian. Therefore, his God level bonus system will definitely not be so useless. In theory, the point adding system should be something like adding points, and currently the only thing that can be obtained is these so-called experience points, which means that these experience points should be used for adding points. After some thought, Jiang Chen refocused his thoughts on the system interface. No, I didn't see any extra points here. Isn't this system really a waste? Why is someone else's system so powerful, with lottery draws and check.in, leaving me with only one useless experience point? Jiang Chen, who originally thought he had discovered the usage of the system, but now couldn't find the point to add points, fell into a state of disappointment again. However, at this moment, Jiang Chen realized that the system interface seemed to have two more gray interfaces. These two are lottery and check.in. How do these two interfaces appear? And why are they gray? Looking at the newly released interface, Jiang Chen once again fell into contemplation. Ding, the host's emotions fluctuate multiple times, gaining 70 experience points. While Jiang Chen was still thinking, the system prompt sound rang again, which made Jiang Chen's mind sparkle. By the way, with some experience, shouldn't we? It seemed like something was on his mind, and Jiang Chen focused his attention on the lottery interface, imagining injecting experience points. Suddenly, the lottery interface gradually turned green from the bottom left corner. Effective. Looking at the touch of green, Jiang Chen couldn't help but show joy and increased the injection of experience points. As experience points are injected, the lottery interface is gradually filled with green. After being fully filled, all green energy shrinks to the center of the interface and then turns into a little blue light that explodes. Ding, the host unlocks the lottery interface and gains 1500 experience points. Ding, dot. Looking at the unlocking prompt, Jiang Chen knew he had succeeded, so he followed suit and unlocked the check.in interface as well. Ding. The host ends the check.in interface and gains 1200 experience points. Alright, now we finally have two practical features, but how exactly are these two features unlocked? Chapter 3. General Understanding and Triple Acquisition Rate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, now we finally have two practical features, but how exactly are these two features unlocked? Looking at the two newly unlocked interfaces, Jiang Chen did not rush to use them. Instead, he began to think about the principle of unlocking. First, think about what I did before, and then reproduce it again. Maybe I can unlock more features. I thought about my previous words in my mind and then looked at the two newly added interfaces. These two interfaces are one for lottery and the other for check.in, and I seem to have mentioned the topic of lottery in check.in before, isn't it? It seemed like something had come to mind, but because it was still uncertain, Jiang Chen decided to give it a try again. Let me think for a moment, what's good to try? With this interface, not to mention anything else, it's definitely necessary. With this interface, I can understand my identity and the current situation. System, add personal attribute panel. Jiang Chen re-entered the system interface and expressed his desire to add a personal attribute panel. 3 seconds later, a new gray interface appeared on the system interface, which was the personal attribute panel. Successfully, it seems that this system can infinitely increase experience points, and the number of experience points obtained varies depending on what is done. After requesting to add the desired interface on the system interface, charging with experience points can obtain this interface. However, it is currently unclear how many interfaces can be added, but since we have added a divine level, there will definitely be more. Moreover, there are still millions of experience to experiment with, so it is better to unlock the personal attribute interface for now. After successfully adding the personal attribute interface, Jiang Chen had a certain understanding of the system's application, and then, as before, charged the personal attribute interface with experience points. Ding! The host unlocks the personal attribute interface and gains 1050 experience points. Ding! Okay, I succeeded. Now let's take a look at my personal attributes. Upon hearing the system prompt, Jiang Chen was overjoyed and immediately clicked on the personal attributes interface to view it. Host. Jiang Chen, Demon God Hupa, Gender. None level. 95, 97, First level God attribute. Superpower plus evil feature. Magician, can steal items carried by the opponent through close combat, skills. Non-dimensional wormhole, non-dimensional assault, shadow ball, evil wave, mental strength, shadow claw, shadow fist introduction. The power of whose fear of being sealed gradually gave birth to his own consciousness during the 100 years of loneliness and anger, forming the demon god Hupa. The arrival of the host accelerated the production of this process. This introduction is great. It seems that I have really traveled to the world of elves and even become a hooper. After seeing the attributes and introduction, Jiang Chen felt particularly excited because he had actually traveled to his favorite Pokémon world. It should be noted that before his journey, he had played many Pokémon games, both in the original version and modified versions. Wait, what's wrong with this gender? Is it because it's a divine beast, so there's no gender? Isn't my sexual life gone? And this introduction, upon closer inspection, has been sealed for 100 years. Am I not traveling through Hupa, but through the sealed demon god Hupa? In an excited state, Jiang Chen suddenly caught a glimpse of the gender on the attribute panel as Wu Ho. He instantly calmed down and carefully read the introduction again. He found that he had been sealed and felt hopeless again. After all, he didn't know how long he would be sealed. At that moment, the system prompt sound rang again. Ding! The host's mood fluctuates greatly, gaining 100 experience points. System, by the way, I still have a system. Maybe the system can help me change my gender and break the seal, but it's not urgent now. After all, the system's functions are limited now, and at least some basic functions need to be unlocked first. Moreover, my current experience and mindset are only over a decade old, and I am definitely unable to unleash the power of divine beasts. However, in the past, Cooper summoned many existences for entertainment. If it were to happen, it would be detrimental to me, and I could take advantage of the time when I was sealed to settle my mindset and familiarize myself with the power. After regaining his composure, Jiang Chen began to reflect on his current situation and ultimately decided not to break the blockade for the time being, but to accumulate strength first. Therefore, he used these millions of experience to unlock the most needed projects at present. Ding! The host unlocks the experience point balance query and obtains 100 experience points. Ding! The host's unlock acquisition rate has doubled, gaining 500 experience points. Ding! The host has increased the double experience point acquisition rate to 3 times, gaining 1,200 experience points. Ding! The host unlocks basic artificial intelligence and gains 6,000 experience points. Balance inquiry. The current experience point balance can be queried, with a current balance of 8,901. The current balance is 8,925. The current balance is 8,961. Triple experience point acquisition rate can be increased. Obtaining experience points is increased to 3 times. Beginner-level artificial intelligence, upgradable. Capable of simple communication and providing assistance to hosts, with annotations that can enhance projects. Looking at the unlocked projects and the constantly increasing experience points, Jiang Chen couldn't help but feel delighted in his heart. In this short period of time, my mood has been fluctuating greatly, but now it should be considered stable. It will gradually develop in the future, isn't it, liver? For me, the liver emperor, it's just a small case. Chapter 4. Breaking Seals and Punishing First Sight. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. 90 years later, in a long silent cave, a sudden burst of red light flickered, followed by a deep voice. It's been 90 years, plus the first 3 years, is there only 7 years left until the plot starts? If we follow the plot of the anime, Xiaoji should have already embarked on a journey now, right? But after all, this is the real world, and it is unlikely that people will start traveling from the age of 10, and Xiaoji cannot be 10 forever. Now I inexplicably understand why the original work liberates Hooper and hates to punish Hooper. At least I still have this system that can be played as a cultivation game, but Liberation Hooper can only be sealed here alone. Punishment Hooper has been playing outside for 100 years, and anyone would be angry if it were. But I should also go out now, after all, how could the original plot be without me? Punishing Hooper. Before participating in the original plot, why not go and see this other part of me? The red light in the cave, accompanied by a gloomy laugh, gradually faded away, and then, after a few seconds of silence, the sound rang out again. System added project. Breaking the seal of the punish pot. After adding new abilities to the system interface, Jiang Chen immediately charged it, and then the punishment pot began to shake violently. Click, click, click. Touch, with a clicking sound, the punishment pot shattered into 3 sections, and a red light flashed, forming a figure next to the shattered punishment pot. Fortunately, I redeemed my transformation skills and stealth skills in advance. As long as my strength does not exceed mine, I cannot detect my true identity. Otherwise, if you perceive it in advance, it will be bad. Little Hooper, I'm here. After Jiang Chen showed a gloomy smile, he collected the fragments of the punish pot from the ground into the system space, and then extended his right hand to hold it flat in front of him. A golden circle appeared along with him, and as Jiang Chen stepped in, the cave returned to tranquility. Note: over the past 90 years, the protagonist has unlocked a lot of things, so it's not surprising to bring out some things later on. After all, he has been locked down for 90 years, so his personality is a bit dark at the moment. However, as the plot progresses, he will gradually return to a sunny and cheerful state, and will unlock a magical form. Readers can look forward to it. In the Carlos region, not far from the desert city, in the Genesis Valley, no one knows that more than 90 years ago, a demon spirit named Hooper appeared here, and there were scenes of multiple divine beasts fighting here. At this time, in the Genesis Valley. Hooper, don't run, you quickly return the things to the people. On the street, Punish Hooper flew ahead with a donut in each hand, and behind him was an 11 or 12-year-old boy chasing Hooper. I don't want to be afraid. Punish Hooper as he flew forward and turned back to watch the little boy chase after him. He casually stuffed a donut into his mouth as he was about to turn his head. Oh, who is it? Wait, don't touch Hooper's head. You. Who are you? The little boy chasing after him from behind looked at the man in front, his left hand embracing Hooper's body, and his right hand caressing his head like a cat. Bah! Balza, help Hooper quickly. Watching the little boy rushing towards him, Hooper struggled in the man's hand and immediately spoke up for help. Oh, are you Balza? Is this little elf yours? It's actually a talking elf, isn't it unusual? Next time, you should take good care of him and don't let him be naughty anymore. Looking at Balza, a strange light seemed to flash in the man's eyes, and then he handed Hooper over. Hooper, after leaving the man's clutches, immediately hid behind Balza. Of course, Hooper is very strong, he 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 he. Yes, I'm sorry, Hooper caused you trouble. Upon hearing the man's words, Hooper poked a small head out from behind Balza, smiled and said, then stuffed the remaining donut in his hand into his mouth. After hearing the man's words, Balza quickly apologized. After all, although he was far away before, he still saw that it was the punishment for Hooper hitting the man first. It's okay, your name is Hooper, right? In my memory, there are also a few Pokémon who can speak like you. The man spoke to Hooper, and his words seemed to catch Hooper's attention. He immediately flew out from behind Balza and stopped in front of the man, asking with an expectant expression on his face. Really? Really? Is there any other Pokémon who can speak human language besides Hooper? But why hasn't Hooper encountered them in these years? Looking at the face of punishing Hooper, the man smiled and said, of course, this world is so big, there are always a few different things. Wow, can you tell Hooper their story? Looking at the starry eyes revealed by the punishment Hooper, the man chuckled inwardly. Finally hooked, can I be considered deceiving myself? That's right, the man is Jiang Chen, who has just broken the seal, and is specifically staying on the necessary path to punish Hoopa. He is preparing to become a human to understand the situation of punishing Hubao over the years. Jiang Chen pondered for a moment and showed a slightly embarrassed expression, saying, of course, but the story is a bit long. Isn't it inconvenient to say it here? After speaking, he pointed to the nearby street and crowd. Big brother, why don't you come to our house? I'm also very interested in the Pokémon you mentioned, which can speak human language. At this moment, Balza, who was priced like a background version, ran over and said. Looking at Balza, who was much smaller than the original work, Jiang Chen couldn't help but show a smile of successful conspiracy in his eyes. Is this Balza from childhood? It's really easy to deceive, but on the other hand, it seems that I haven't made much progress since I grew up, and I can actually be controlled by the demon god Hoopa in the seal. Oh, really? I won't disturb you, will I? It's okay, we only have my sister and I at home. Big brother, come with me. Chapter 5. Go to Shenao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mayari, I'm back. As Balza pushed open the door, a petite figure rushed over him in an instant, leaping straight over Balza and towards punishing Hooper behind him. Hooper, you're back. Watching his excited sister hugging Hoopa, Balza couldn't help but curl his head and mutter to himself. Humph, I know about Hoopa every day, and I don't know how to care about my brother. As if hearing her brother's murmur, Mayari turned around holding Hoopa and walked up to Balza, coquettishly speaking. Alright, Mayari also likes her brother. Don't be angry, brother. Watching the three little guys playing and frolicking in front of him, Jiang Chen couldn't help but step forward. After all, if this continued, he didn't know how long it would take. Balza, is this your sister? She's very cute. After speaking, Jiang Chen reached out and touched little Loli's head. Mayali, who was only 10 years old now, couldn't be too much of a little Loli. Humph, don't touch someone's head. They won't grow tall, brother. Who is this big brother? He's. Mayari shook her head and shook Jiang Chen's hand, then turned to Balza and asked. Only then did Balza realize that she still didn't know Jiang Chen's name. Fortunately, at this moment Jiang Chen walked out and introduced to San Shao only. Hello, my name is Jiang Chen. I can be considered a Pokémon enthusiast. I know many interesting Pokémon stories. Oh, that's right. Brother Jiang Chen is a Pokémon enthusiast, and this time he's here to share with us the Pokémon that speaks human language. Upon hearing Jiang Chen's words, Balza, who was embarrassed on the side, immediately followed suit and continued. Mayari had some doubts at first, but upon hearing Balza's words, her eyes lit up instantly. After all, she was only a 10-year-old child and couldn't resist the temptation of the story. Afterwards, Jiang Chen told the story of Daisai from the girl's gorge and the rocket's meow meow, which shocked the three little ones beyond measure. What shocked Hoopa and Balza was that besides themselves, there were actually other Pokémon who could speak human language. Mayari, on the other hand, felt sad because the girl had been waiting for her lover for 1,000 years and Guiz was with her. Meow Meow also worked hard to learn from humans for the sake of her beloved existence. And Jiang Chen also inferred a bit of the current situation from Balza's mouth. After all, although he couldn't leave the Genesis Valley too far due to Hoopa's reasons, Balza still followed some villagers from the town to the desert city to buy daily necessities, so he could also learn some information from the desert city. At present, except for the rising power of the rocket team in the Kanto region, other regions are relatively peaceful for the time being, and it is said that Xirona from the Shenao region is preparing to challenge for the championship position. There are still 3 years left before the official plot begins, and it is precisely when Xirona becomes the champion. Goodbye, big brother, come and play again next time. Don't worry, we will definitely see each other again in the future, Hooper. At the door, San Xiaoju watched as Jiang Chen left with excitement on his face, and Jiang Chen also turned around and waved goodbye to San Xiaoju. However, the last 2 words were not heard clearly because he had turned his head back and his voice was low. Standing outside the Valley of Genesis, Jiang Chen propped his chin with one hand and pondered. Alright, now let me think about where to go next. However, thinking of this, Jiang Chen felt a sense of helplessness again. He had originally planned to take advantage of the fact that the alpaca was still asleep during this period to give Hoopa a good lesson and punish him, and then the left hand, the third dragon of the Tao, and the right hand, the third dragon of the creation. It wasn't until the seal was truly broken that it was discovered that it seemed to be the essence of the alpaca, which had established certain rules when creating the world. Any existence that reaches the level of a first-level god cannot casually use its own power of laws, and if multiple first-level gods simultaneously use the power of laws, it may lead to the destruction of the world. This is probably also why the first-level god in the original work was so defeated. After all, the main power of the first-level god is the power of the law, and cannot use the power of the law. Its strength has been reduced by at least half. And so many divine beasts are easily controlled by humans, probably intentionally, because only in this way can there be sufficient reasons to use the power of their own laws. After all, I am controlled, not my own thoughts, right? After the original work liberated Hooper, he summoned a level 1 god due to his hatred for punishing Hooper, ultimately leading to the entire desert city turning into a void. If it weren't for the timely rescue of the alpaca in the end, he would probably have had to play. Why don't you go to Shenao if you have one? Although there are alpacas there, they are currently sleeping, so you can try to steal the alpaca's life pearl. You can also take a chance to see Xirona challenge the championship. After carefully considering the pros and cons in the current timeline, Jiang Chen finally decided to go to the Shenao region. After thinking about it, the golden ring appeared and disappeared again after Jiang Chen stepped in, leaving only a small sentence. Well, this ability is pretty good for driving, but it's really like a rabbit using a loser's explosive equipment to drive. Chapter 6. Life Pearl and Jiemi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Medina, a prosperous and vibrant place, few people know that thousands of years ago, it was once barren, and the reason for this prosperity was all due to an artifact from the creator god Arceus. At this moment, in the high altitude 3 kilometers away from Medina, a golden ring suddenly appeared here, and a human figure appeared from the halo. Looking at the prosperous scene below, the figure couldn't help but show an intoxicated expression. Is this Medina here? It's so beautiful. I hope this beauty can still be maintained when the alpaca arrives. The pearl of life seems to be in that ruins. After concealing his own figure, Jiang Chen flew towards the ruins of the temple and in an instant came to the top of the ruins. He wrapped his hands around his chest and stared in the direction of the temple. I remember a good job. The life treasure inside the ruins seems to be fake, but it really seems to be in a nearby pool. After speaking, Jiang Chen turned his gaze to the several pools below, his eyes emitting a purple light and releasing his psychic power to investigate, but he quickly withdrew and showed a disappointed expression. TSK, the most annoying thing is this. Anything that involves the power of divine beasts cannot be sensed through special powers, especially something related to the Creator God. If it weren't for this, I would have used a different dimension wormhole to directly retrieve it. Fortunately, I am not just a divine beast. If it were any other divine beast, I would either search for it inch by inch or destroy it to the ground. After all, even if it is a first-level god that cannot be destroyed, as long as the land covering it is cleared, it can be easily obtained. Fortunately, I used to be a human. Although humans had various ailments and a short lifespan, they possessed wisdom that even divine beasts could not match. Some technological advancements even possessed the power to harm divine beasts. Alright, now let me think about it. What kind of ability is good to add? It can't be one time, it's better to be able to be useful for a long time. Well, with it, that's it. Ding, the host unlocks the treasure exploration function and gains 6,600 experience points. Ding, the host has upgraded the treasure exploration function to level 2, gaining 8,000 experience points. Ding, the host has upgraded the treasure exploration function to level 3 and gained 13,000 experience points. Treasure exploration function LV.3.1. There is a high probability of alerting the host to nearby treasures. 2. Increase perceptual range and ability. 3. A treasure can be designated to search for around the host every month. Looking at the third-level treasure exploration function, Jiang Chen couldn't help but smile. Alright, now that the third level is enough, give me a designated search for the life pearl. After Jiang Chen issued the search command, a yellow arrow that only he could see immediately appeared, and the direction of the arrow was pointing diagonally towards a pool below. Oh, is it in that place? Looking at the direction indicated by the arrow, Jiang Chen squinted his eyes and immediately wrapped himself with his mental strength, bending down and charging towards the direction indicated by the arrow. In no time, a figure rushed out of the water again and disappeared into the distance. All of this was seen by a little girl, but because Jiang Chen's flight speed was too fast, he could only see 2 splashes of water exploding in the pool, so he thought it was Pokémon making a fuss under the water. On the other side, Jiang Chen landed in a forest, reached out his palm, and a green bead appeared, feeling the powerful power contained inside. Is this the treasure of life? It contains the power of the 5 stone tablets of the alpaca, but unfortunately it doesn't have the magical stone tablets and the evil face stone tablets that I need. Forget it, let's try to break it down for now. Decomposition LV.3.1. It can decompose props composed of multiple materials back into their constituent materials. The rarer the prop, the higher the failure rate. 2. Can break down the Pokémon that have evolved together into Pokémon. The stronger the strength, the higher the failure rate. 3. The success rate of decomposition is permanently increased by 5%. Ding, the host used the decomposition technique on the life pearl, but the decomposition failed and gained 500 experience points. Did the decomposition fail? Unfortunately, if it weren't for the current level 4 upgrade for functional classes and level 3 for skill classes, I would have already reached level 6 based on my current experience. And although the desired functions can be obtained by simply expressing them on the system's main interface and filling in experience points, the currently available functions seem to be limited. To upgrade to a higher level or gain more features, the system needs to be upgraded. However, even if you want to upgrade the current version to the next level, it requires 10 billion experience points. The newly obtained Life Pearl only increased by 20 million experience points with a 4x experience acquisition rate. The Life Pearl is composed of 5 stone slabs, which, when converted, only amounts to 1 million experience points. Even if all the remaining stone slabs of the alpaca are stolen, it will only have over 50 million experience points. Forget it, forget it. Anyway, my lifespan is long now, and there will always be a day when I can gather all of them. Now that I have the treasure of life, let's go and watch Shirona's championship challenge. Thinking of this, the golden ring appeared in front of Jiang Chen, but just as Jiang Chen was about to step in, a green figure suddenly appeared from the side. After seeing the appearance of this figure clearly, Jiang Chen couldn't help but be taken aback. Is this Jiemi? I didn't realize it just now. Did I forget to explore the surrounding environment because I was too happy to get the life pearl? It seems like I still have a long way to go. Looking at the green hedgehog in front of him, Jiang Chen first reflected on himself and then walked forward to pick it up. Feeling the trembling body of the little one in his arms, Jiang Chen showed a self-proclaimed friendly smile. Don't worry, little one, I'm not a bad person. Chapter 7. Jiemi joins the team. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Don't worry, little one, I'm not a bad person. Jiemi, after listening for a while but couldn't hear the sound, let's just forget it. Although Jiang Chen tried his best to be kind, Jiemi, who was naturally timid, was still scared and shrank into a ball, thinking in his heart, why did Jiemi say so unlucky? Jiemi just felt a very warm breath and said, why does this human being always feel so scary? Jiemi is a magical Pokémon with a unique ethnic group, and the terrestrial form of Jiemi is often distributed around the world, embarking on a journey to find the Galactia flower. During this process, Jiemi will accumulate a lot of experience, and then under the influence of the Gracia flower, she can complete the transformation from land form to sky form. And this Jiemi, who was originally trying to find the Galactia flower, was attracted by the energy of grass emitted by the life pearl, so she came to Jiang Chen. By the way, Jiemi, you should be looking for the Gravita flower, right? Looking at the still trembling hedgehog, Jiang Chen prepared to talk about something that would interest him and make him less afraid. However, upon hearing Jiang Chen's words, Jiemi finally reluctantly lifted her head. Me. Jiemi tilted her head and looked at Jiang Chen with a puzzled expression, as if wondering why this human knew he was looking for the grassland flower. Looking at the puzzled Jiemi, Jiang Chen smiled and said, I know a lot of information about Pokémon, and your tribe has also been discovered by humans, so there are also many introductions about you among humans. Me. Upon hearing Jiang Chen's words, Jiemi finally became less afraid and reluctantly stretched out her curled-up body. Effective, let's strike while the iron is hot. Seeing Jiemi's performance, Jiang Chen couldn't help but brighten his eyes, but then he burst into a bitter smile, thinking to himself. I never expected that as an evil divine beast, I would lure another phantom beast here like deceiving a child. It seems that in my heart, human nature is greater than divine nature. Me. Looking at Jiang Chen, who suddenly went into a daze, Jiemi showed a puzzled expression again, and Jiang Chen also came to his senses under Jiemi's call. Jiemi, you should be looking for the Galactia flower to become stronger, right? And I have something here that can quickly enhance my strength. Don't believe it, you see. It seems that in order to make Jiemi believe that he really has a way to enhance his strength, Jiang Chen wrapped his left hand around Jiemi, extended his right hand, and then a bottle of green reagent appeared in his hand. Essence of grass, high level. Contains pure grass energy. Effect. After taking it, it can significantly increase the energy of the grass system in the body, and has a lower probability of comprehending grass skills that cannot be learned originally. This bottle of reagent is one of the items obtained by Jiang Chen using the check.in function. In addition, there are higher order reagents that have a very low probability of obtaining the corresponding attributes of the reagents after taking them. Unfortunately, Jiang Chen has only drawn a total of 5 bottles in recent years, and his face is so black that he has not obtained any attributes. At most, it has strengthened the power of using corresponding attribute skills. However, on the other hand, Hooper's face is gray and can be considered black to some extent. However, for Jiang Chen, whether or not he can obtain attributes is not important. As long as he can obtain skills, it is enough. After all, learning all skills can be considered as full attributes. Now, looking at the essence of grass in Jiang Chen's hands and feeling the pure energy contained in it, Jiemi can't help but see it. Jiemi n, asterisk greater than or equal to less than or equal to asterisk, n, how about it? Do you want it? Looking at Jiemi's expression, Jiang Chen shook the reagent in his hand, took advantage of the heat to strike the iron, tempting him. As long as you come with me, this bottle of reagent will be yours, and there will be more in the future. Me. Looking at Jiemi in contemplation, Jiang Chen knew that she was tempted. With just one more effort, she would be able to obtain this little cutie. Don't worry, I won't use Pokémon balls to bind you like others do. You just need to follow me along. It's a relationship like forming a team, and even so, I will still give you some supplies. How about that? Do you want to come with me? Mimi. Jiemi hesitated for a moment and immediately agreed. After all, where should I look for something like this that doesn't need to be tamed and can still benefit? Traveling with Jiang Chen's side is almost the same as before, with just an additional person, and there is no need to search for food on your own. Moreover, this human has not used a Pokéball to subdue himself, so he can leave at any time. Looking at Jiemi and feeling her emotional fluctuations with her superpowers, Jiang Chen was able to roughly guess Jiemi's thoughts. Sure enough, Pokémon is still too naive, even if it's a phantom beast. As long as you stay with me for a while, I don't believe you still want to leave. Besides, no one really thinks that they wouldn't let Jiemi leave without the Pokémon ball, right? No, right. Can't it be, although it is not easy to use the power of laws, it is not easy to control such a little guy who is not good at combat, but forcing control would reduce a lot of fun. In this way, each person and beast gradually disappeared into this forest with their own thoughts in their hearts. P.S. The school has released several online courses, so for now, let's have 2 daily updates and update another chapter in the afternoon. Chapter 8. Xirona. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, the Shenao League is bustling with voices and excitement, but in 3 days, Xirona, who is currently one of the 4 heavenly kings of Shenao, will challenge the championship position. Even though there are still 3 days left until the challenge, many staff members are busy inside the venue at this moment. After all, the championship challenge is of utmost importance to a region, let alone live streaming to the world, so caution must be exercised. At the same time, in a certain room, 3 other divine beings, except for Xirona, were gathered here. Wusong. How is it? Do you have the confidence to intercept this championship challenge? Xirona said, I've also seen Xirona grow up. To be honest, Xirona's championship challenge is almost certain. This child is the most talented female trainer I've ever seen. Daye said, what's so remarkable is that there's a powerful family behind it. If I had the support of the temple clan, I would definitely not be worse than Xirona. Wusong said, but I heard that except for Xirona's ace, the fierce biting land shark, which is given by the family, everything else depends on oneself. Daye. This. Xirona said, alright, I'm not calling you here to discuss these things. Let's discuss the next interception tactics. Although Xirona's victory is almost certain, we also need to show the world the power of our other 3 heavenly kings. Daye said, in my opinion, Shu Wusong is the weakest among us. Why don't he go on stage first and try to understand Xiriona's strength? Upon hearing Daye's words, Wusong couldn't help but have a black line on his face, thinking that he wouldn't have just exposed the fact that this guy was not as good as Xiriona and retaliated against him. Because there can only be 4 heavenly kings in a region, let's consider Feilu joining after Xirona becomes the champion. While the 3 heavenly kings were discussing, our protagonist Xirona arrived on the street with the fierce biting land shark. Shark. Looking at the back of its owner, the fierce bite of the land shark made a shout. It was almost time for a challenge, shouldn't it be training now? Seemingly aware of her ace's thoughts, Xirona turned to Lai Bite Lu Shark and said. Alright, we need to balance work and rest, and occasionally come out to relax. Long-term training can easily cause damage. Shark. It seemed that he felt his master's words were reasonable, so he bit the land shark again and let out a soft voice, then followed behind his master. But before he could go much further, he realized that his owner suddenly ran towards a certain shop. It wasn't until Lai Bite Lu Shark approached that he realized it was actually an ice cream shop, and his owner was now pointing his finger at his chin, tilting his head to look at the ice cream inside. Well, there are so many ice creams. Which flavor should I choose? This vanilla flavor looks delicious, but the strawberry flavor also seems good, How about having some of each flavor? Wow! What kind of Pokémon is that? It's so cute. Where did I catch this Pokémon? I really want one too. Just as Xirona was still hesitating, a magnetic voice came from behind. Upon hearing the voices behind her and the shouts of the girl, Xirona turned around and saw a man standing in front with both hands in his pockets. Although not very handsome, he was not very ugly, and on his right shoulder lay a blue hedgehog-shaped elf. The newcomers were Jiang Chen, who was preparing to watch the Xirona Championship Challenge, as well as Jiemi, who had used the Flash Potion to transform into a Flash form. Flash Potion LV3 can transform a Pokémon with a race value of 600 or less into a Flash form. Okay, so cute. Upon seeing shining Jiemi, Xirona was greatly moved and couldn't help but hold her in her arms, forgetting even the ice cream. Jiemi. Jiang Chen couldn't help but smile as he looked at Xirona, who was completely sucking on Jiemi, and Jiemi, who was looking at him for help. Is this Shirona before becoming the champion? I didn't expect to have this kind of posture. It seems that the kind of competence and indifference that followed were honed after becoming a champion shark. Oh. No, I'm sorry, this is your Pokémon, because it's so cute that I couldn't control it. Upon hearing the slightly angry cry of the biting shark, Xirona finally reacted and reluctantly returned Jiemi to Jiang Chen. It's okay, Jiemi also likes this, right? Jiang Chen answered Xirona while smiling at the Jiemi in his hand, silently thinking in his heart. Well, it's not me who touched me anyway. If anyone dares to do this to me, their ashes will be raised by him. Me. Listening to Jiang Chen's words, Jiemi couldn't help but show an angry expression. Unfortunately, Jiang Chen ignored Jiemi and continued to speak to Xirona. By the way, I heard what you just said. I think you wanted to buy ice cream, but I don't know which one to buy, right? Why don't you just take some of it? No, girls can't eat so much ice cream and get fat. Affected by the ice cream, Xirona did not consider how Jiang Chen heard her words from so far away before. This is simple. How about we each buy a portion? You take a bite first, and then give the rest to this little guy, so you can taste every bite. Can it still be like this? But isn't it good? It's okay, this little guy happened to be hungry too, right? After speaking, Jiang Chen looked at Jiemi in his arms with a bewildered expression on her face, and at the same time seduced Xirona. And if you want, you can hold him and feed him then. Upon hearing these words, Xirona couldn't help but brighten her eyes. After all, Xirona has not yet become the powerful female champion of the future, and she is still interested in some things related to little girls. Moreover, the little one's body is soft and fluffy, making it very comfortable to hold. Okay, then. Chapter 9. Champions Challenge is about to begin. You are listening at novelfull.audio. How about it, is it delicious? In a park, Jiang Chen and Xirona sat together, with a small basket next to them containing various flavors of ice cream. At this moment, Xirona was handing the blueberry ice cream she had taken a small bite of to the hedgehog lying on her lap under the resentful gaze of the biting land shark. Upon hearing Jiang Chen's words, he couldn't help but lift his head and show a shy expression, answering softly. "Well, I've never tasted so many ice creams at once before, thank you so much. Oh, by the way, I don't know your name yet." Just as Xirona was about to express her gratitude to Jiang Chen, she suddenly realized that she still didn't know what the person's name was. Upon careful consideration, this person suddenly approached her with no purpose, right? Through telepathy, Jiang Chen felt Xiriona's skepticism towards him. He couldn't help but be taken aback and decided to use his identity to the end. I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. I am a Pokémon enthusiast dedicated to exploring various Pokémon stories. I heard about the championship challenge this time, so I'm planning to come and see it. And this ice cream feast, let's take it as my early wish for your victory. Xirona, the Heavenly King. After Jiang Chen finished speaking, he got up and walked forward, while Jiemi on Shilua's lap jumped to the ground as if seeing dawn, following behind Jiang Chen. Wait. Looking at Jiang Chen who was about to leave, Xirona couldn't help but freeze. Yeah, at least I am the divine and mysterious Heavenly King, and I may even be about to become a champion. How could someone come to my disadvantage? This person probably heard of me before coming to help. Unfortunately, due to facing her back, Xirona did not see the smile on Jiang Chen's face. If she had seen it, she probably wouldn't have thought so. Hee, the fish has taken the bait. Although due to system version restrictions, I still have no gender and cannot reproduce, it does not mean that I do not have feelings, let alone because I have no gender, I can now not only become a male, but also a female. Looking at Xirona standing in front of him, Jiang Chen, although secretly pleased, still said on the surface. What's wrong? Xirona, is there anything else? That. Looking at Jiang Chen who was about to leave, for some reason, Xirona couldn't help but stop in front of her, but at this moment, she didn't know what to say. If there's nothing else, please step aside. I have to leave. Looking at Jiang Chen, Xirona panicked for a moment. Suddenly, she seemed to have thought of something and quickly said. Wait, you. Didn't you just say you were exploring various Pokémon stories? Can you tell me the stories you know now? Seemingly afraid of Jiang Chen's misunderstanding, Xirona quickly explained. You. Don't misunderstand, it's just because I'm a historian, maybe the stories you know will help me study history. Looking at Xiriona's appearance, Jiang Chen couldn't help but smile. After all, it's hard to see Xirona being shy when reading the original work. Indeed, Xirona was even cuter before becoming the champion. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen pointed again to the place where he had sat before. Since that's the case, let's sit and chat slowly. After a period of time unconsciously, it's almost dark now. Time flies so fast. Looking at the sky, Jiang Chen stood up and turned his head to Xirona, saying. It's already so late today. If the Xirona Heavenly King still wants to listen, why don't we meet here tomorrow? The next day. At yesterday's park, Xirona had already been waiting here early. Seeing Jiang Chen walking from a distance, she quickly ran forward to share her gains. Looking at Xiriona's expression full of curiosity, Jiang Chen muttered to himself. I can't tell you, I know it from the game, right? Therefore, looking at Xirona, Jiang Chen showed an enigmatic expression and said. Well, I naturally have my own method. Well, if you don't want to tell me, just forget it. Looking at Jiang Chen, Xirona thought she was deliberately not telling herself about the documents she discovered, but she quickly regained her senses. After all, it was not anyone else's obligation to tell you, was it? Forget it, why don't you tell me more about those Wang Zhibao dreams? Do they really have huge body sizes? Of course, let me tell you. Under this kind of interaction, 2 days passed by in a flash. Xirona, the challenge is about to start, we need to keep going. In the player channel of the Shenao League, Jiang Chen encouraged Xirona by touching her head. Don't worry, I will definitely win the championship. Xirona extended her right hand and made a gesture of encouragement, then randomly turned around and walked towards the field. All of this undoubtedly has a fatal attraction for Xirona, who loves historical research. Therefore, without Xirona's knowledge, a trace of emotion has already formed in her heart. Within the venue. Finally here, Xirona. P.S. I don't have much time to code words during the day now, and I have to brush classes and learn how to drive / so now I can only do it at night. In addition, as the current timeline is 3 years before the start of the plot, the protagonist will run through several important areas to lay the groundwork for the start of the plot. It is expected that after Xirona becomes the champion, she will travel to new areas. Chapter 10. Shirona vs. Daye. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Is my first match against you. Daye, although it's a bit tricky, it's not difficult for me to win against you now. Looking at the man with red hair across from her, Xirona spoke the truth straightforwardly, but this angered Daye, who was already having a bad temper. Humph, dare you underestimate me so much? Be careful not to suffer big losses later. Come on, long-eared rabbit. That's right, standing in front of Xirona at this moment is one of the 4 heavenly kings, the Fire Heavenly King Daye. Originally, in the arrangement of the previous few days, Daye was prepared to let Wusong lead the battle. But Wusong just said, my strength is weak, and I may not be able to test how much strength Xirona has. Your strength is the strongest among the remaining 3 of us, and maybe it can bring a lot of pressure to Xirona. This made the young and energetic Daye volunteer to play the first game. Long-eared rabbit. Since that's the case, I've decided it's you. Go ahead, Flower Rock Monster. Watching Daye release the long-eared rabbit from the opposite side, based on her attribute advantage, Xirona dispatched the Flower Rock Monster with ghost attributes. Although the opponent will definitely have the ability to counter ghost attributes, they will continue to fight against the remaining 2 heavenly kings in a row, so they must make good use of their attribute advantage and strategy. Long-ear free, use for high-speed movement. Flower Rock Monster, a trick. After both sides of the elves were released, Xirona and Daye immediately gave orders to their own elves. Surprisingly, both were first prepared to stack up. And Xirona seems to have put in a lot of effort, training a lot in this area, and the Flower Rock Monster was the first to complete the stacking of states. Watching her Flower Rock Monster complete the state stacking, Xirona immediately issued another command. Flower Rock Monster, using the Wave of Evil. After hearing Xirona's command, the Flower Rock Monster immediately gathered its body energy, followed by a visible evil energy heading towards the long ear to avoid attack. Hold on and continue to use high-speed movement. Looking at the attack that was about to hit the long-eared rabbit, Daye did not let it dodge, but instead chose to carry the attack hard and continue to stack the state. And across from her, Xirona saw Daye's choice and squinted her eyes. Would you rather endure an attack than increase your status? Is that not good, Flower Rock Monster? Interrupt him. Seemingly thinking of something, Xirona quickly ordered the Flower Rock Monster to attack, followed by a wave of evil attacking the long-eared rabbit again. Unfortunately, it was a step too late, and the long-eared rabbit had already completed its high-speed movement. Looking at such a decisive Xirona, Daye across from her showed a shocked expression. Surprisingly, I discovered it so quickly. It's truly you, Xirona, but even if it's only stacked twice, it's enough. Long-eared rabbit, use the baton. With Daye's command, the long-eared rabbit transformed into a stream of light and rushed towards the Flower Rock Monster. After passing through the Flower Rock Monster's body, it transformed into another stream of light and returned to the elf ball on Daye's waist. Bang! Immediately after, another Pokémon ball hanging on Daye's waist opened, and as the light dissipated, it was Daiba's ace. The flame monkey. That appeared on the field. It seems that my luck is really good. Since that's the case, flame monkey, use jet flame. By the way, why can the 5th generation learn by upgrading, and can only learn through the learning machine when reaching Zhu? Watching the flame monkey appear on the field, Daye was overjoyed and quickly issued instructions. And the flame monkey also reacted quickly, with a flame immediately spewing out from its mouth. Quickly dodge. Looking at the flames about to hit the flower rock monster, Xirona quickly shouted. In the end, the flower rock monster narrowly avoided the jet flames from a tricky angle. But before Xirona could breathe a sigh of relief, the flame monkey appeared next to the flower rock monster, and then its silver-white tail swung towards the flower rock monster. Originally, the jet flame just now was just to divert attention, and the real attack was to quickly reach the end of the flower rock monster's side under the stacking of high-speed movement. Flower rock monster. Watching the flower rock monster suffer heavy damage at close range, Xirona couldn't help but let out a cry of surprise, and then quickly ordered again. Flower rock monster, use the farewell gift quickly. Upon hearing Xirona's command, a black wave emanated from within the flower rock monster and headed towards the nearby flame monkey. At such a close distance, the flame monkey had no time to dodge and was instantly hit by the flower rock monster. In the audience, Jiang Chen, holding Jiemi, frowned. What's going on? Although the flame monkey is Daye's ace, with Xirona's strength, she shouldn't have lost an elf so quickly. Maybe it's because of my influence, right? Well, forget it, let's take a look again first. If the situation is not favorable to Xirona, I don't mind secretly helping out. Anyway, with the strength of these people, they won't be able to detect me taking action from behind the scenes. Thinking of this, Jiang Chen once again turned his gaze to the field. Xirona took out the Poké ball, retrieved the flower rock monster, and then took out another Poké ball before throwing it out. Accompanied by the flashing red light, a white airplane-shaped Pokémon appeared on the field. Pokés, use the blade of air. Before the red light could dissipate, Xirona immediately gave her instructions. Immediately after, a faint and elusive aura attack headed towards the flame monkey. Flame monkey, use the flame wheel to dodge to the side and then attack Pokés. P.S. To be honest, I wrote this battle in a mess. I also checked a lot of information for it, but I just couldn't write it well. I originally wrote a chapter, but I changed it again. Let's just focus on daily life for the rest. For the battle plot, either not fighting or crushing, try to keep the pace as fast as possible and reduce the length of the battle.